Welcome to salespresspro, and in this short video I'm going to be talking about the upgrade features of version 1.4. Not only what the features are, but why I have upgraded it and how it will benefit you. First of all, what is the upgrade on version 1.4? This affects all default templates. You'll notice that if I go to page options, there are a number of different default templates. If you go to the template here, there's the default template with the rounded corners. There's two of them that are 750 pixel wide, and this is the default and the default with the rounded corners. And then there's the default template with the rounded corners, which is around 900 pixels wide around there. Same as the one up here. This is the one with the corners are not rounded. So basically there's four default templates: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what this upgrade does is that it affects all of the default templates and it's an added option for you. And what this option does is that it eliminates the top area up here. You'll notice that on the top of the browser to the top of the content area, there's a space. And normally you can put a logo in here or whatever, but what I've done is I've given you the option to eliminate this space, and I'll show you why I've done that. But first I'll show you how it works. Now there's a global settings or the theme option settings, and there's also a page settings option for this. So if you want it to affect all the default templates on every page of your site, then you'd go to the default settings and activate this. For example, here is the theme settings, or what's called the global settings. Now this option is in the general. You go to general, scroll down, and what you'll see here is an option that says remove space between header and content box in all defaults. So if I click this on, and if I come up here and if I click on save changes, and then if I come back here and if I let me just refresh, you'll notice that this comes up to the top of the page. All right, this page. Now you can easily add a web page just like this, and this affects all templates. So for example, if I come back here and now if I go to another default template, for example, let me just select one up here. If I select, for example, the rounded corners 750 pixel wide, and if I click on update, and now if I come back to this here, it's going to be the same effect, but it's going to be 750 pixel wide. See, let me just refresh. There it is there, okay? It's obviously a smaller template. It's got rounded corners, but on top here, there is no space, all right? So for example, if I come back here and if I eliminate this, if I take this option off, unselect it, save the changes, come back here, you'll see on top here, even on the small 750 pixel wide default template, if I refresh, there's that space again, all right, on the small 750 pixel wide with rounded corners. And again, this is a cool looking page. But I'll show you why I've done that. First of all, let me go back to my original template here, which is the one on top. Let me just pick that one. I'll just update. Now I will show you why I have done this. Let me just come back here to global settings, and I will select it on. And by the way, as I select this on, this is the theme settings, but this option is also available in the page settings. And so if you only want one of your pages to have this option, you can use the page options. And in the page options, this option is you scroll down in the page options, and it's not under the common options. Let me just scroll down. It's in the video sales page and content page options. And it's in the general options of the video sales page and content page options. So click on general options right here, and you'll see right here it says remove space between header and content and all defaults. So this is if you just want it on this page alone, all right? You select that on. Now I don't need to do that because I've selected it on in the theme options, which is right here. All right, and that's good enough for this illustration. All right. So now I will show you why I've done that. So if I refresh, it's going to go back to the large default, and it's removed that space. All right. Now I'll show you why I've done this. I have done this so that when you add a header area, there is no space. So let me add a header. If I come back here, let me just add a header. It says enable header background options. Click on activate. And if I click on header image URL, let me just grab a header image. And so if I grab this one right here, and if I select that, or else I can upload one. So if I select this, and I forgot the exact height of that. In my memory, the height of that, you want the height of this header image always, and the height, that's right, it's 125, okay? So if you don't know what the height is, just grab that URL, put it in your browser, and get the image info. So now I've added a header, and let me just click on Save Changes. And now let me come back to the default. This default, remember, goes right to the top of the browser, and let me just refresh. You see that? Okay. Now, the reason why I've done this is obviously what you can do is you can grab a background. Let me just grab a background, for example. And I can grab a background. Come here, and I'm going to select the background. And here's the background. Okay, that's a little slice of it. Let me select that, and let me save the changes. And now you'll see here that there's no area between the header and the content box. So if I click on refresh again, you'll see that all the way across there's that header, and there's no space. So for example, if I come back here and if I deselect remove space, if I deselect that and save changes, you'll see what happens here. You'll see a space. You see that space there? All right, so what you can do here is remove that space, enable it to remove that space, and it goes like that. Now what's also cool is that you can add a nav bar below this here, and there's nav bar options, and they're really cool, and I've shown you that in another video. So for example, if I go to the page options here, and if I go to, for example, it says common for all pages. If I go down to nav bar options, and I need to put a SPP in the menu bar, but if I just enable that, nav bar height, I like mine around 44. All right, and I'm not going to play with the color. This is just for illustrations. Obviously, I would change the colors, but this is just for illustration purposes. And you'll notice on the bottom here, it says show nav bar for full width. Yes, I want it for full width because I have a full width header. All right, so I want it to be the full width, and show nav bar below the header, and I'm going to select yes. All right, for below the header. Now obviously you need to set up your menu buttons, but if I click on update, this is probably going to show a lot of pages because I need to select the menu bar. So if I click on update, you'll see here, oh okay, all right, so there is a menu, let's go to the menu here. You go to menu. I've probably already done this before, all right? Okay, so there it is there. So there is a nav bar there, and contact, login, and JV Booster. And I've shown you how to do this. So here's the 3 tabs I've put in the nav bar in the menu section. And so here they are right here, okay? And again, you can change the color of this, and you'll notice that the nav bar goes all the way across. So that's a really good looking, really great looking page. And these are just some of the options. Again, this is for all the defaults. So for example, if I come back here and if I click on, for example, let me just move this up. Let me move this up. If I click on the 750 width, click update, you'll see what happens here. It's a smaller content area. There it is there, okay? And again, you can play with it and do anything that you want, all right? So this is Mark DeLeese signing off on the new feature of version 1.4 and how cool it works. Thank you.